Hey Josh, this is Pete. Let me give you a quick tour of Git here for your purposes. So this web page is public, GitHub, Appletix, TikTat. This is the TikTat repository on GitHub. Because it's a public repository, you should be fine just checking in as is. You shouldn't need any funny SSH stuff. So you should just be able to download the basic Git tools and then go to work. You may need to establish a GitHub account. So you can see that's me in the funny hat over there. So you're probably going to need to establish an account as part of your login. But other than that, it should be pretty straightforward. So let me know if you have trouble with any of that part. So let's assume you've downloaded the tools, right? So the tools that I use are GitHub Desktop, and then I also use the terminal, the command line version, which is just the tool Git, right? So let me clear the screen. And so if I say Git up, see, there's all kinds of things with Git, right? So those are the two things you need. You need Git, GIT, so generic command line tool, the GitHub Desktop. Okay, so assuming you've got those two things, now if you go here and you look at the Appletix TikTat, see under branches, there's one called OPL driver. So this is where I'm going to develop all the OPL functionality. So how would I get a fresh pull of this? Let me just make sure I don't have any changes to commit. So, yep, I'm good. So assuming I want to get a fresh pull, which is one of the three basic things I do. So I have a directory called source. You can, have your own root directory. It can be whatever the heck you want. And I'm going to remove the old version of it because I want to make sure I have a fresh pull. And then I'm going to say git clone. And just to be safe, I'm just pulling this address. So I'm copying, pasting that web address right there into git clone. Now, sorry, it's moving slowly. Why is it moving slowly? I don't know. There it goes. Okay, good. So now I've downloaded. I have my own. So if you see, I've got a bunch of projects that I'm working on, but I just downloaded. This directory was just created. Appletix-TikTat was just created by the git clone step. So then I go in that directory and I say git checkout. And again, this is the name is OPL_driver. So git checkout OPL_driver. And so now I switch to a new branch OPL driver. So now some of the files, for example, the files I'm going to point you at are only in the OPL driver. So I'll just browse there this way. So if I go CD examples, CD expert section, CD opal, CD diet. And these are the two files that I'm starting with right now, diet.mod, diet.py. And this diet.py is functional up until it hits the, if I try to run this diet.py file, it only runs if the diet.mod file is in the same directory. And but then as long as diet.mod is there, it'll run, but it won't actually run. It won't actually perform the opal run step because I don't have that set up on this computer. And I'm probably never going to get it set up on this computer. That's what we're going to collaborate on that. But diet.mod is the file I need you to edit, right? I've got diet.py set up with a reasonable input schema, and I believe that input schema is reflected in diet.mod, and then diet.mod doesn't have any work in there yet. So hopefully you can get diet.mod to work, and you can set up diet.mod to be a legal opal file that does the correct work, and then you can test diet.mod with some sample data of your own. I'll send you some Excel files with stuff that ought to be readable by that's consistent with our schema. And then once you have diet.mod working, then I can build the connector between diet.py and diet.mod so that you can then test running diet.mod outside of the Opal IDE. Okay, hopefully that all makes sense to you. Sorry if I rambled a bit much there, but again, all you need is yeah, so see, this always happens. Because I reboot from scratch. You gotta the repository disappears, and I find it. Oh yeah, so let me show you. I'm not going to actually commit the change, but if you want to edit the file, this is the way you do it. So that's again, what are you supposed to do? This is Josh is going to edit the file. So let me just let me go over to PyCharm. I always work. This is what I do my file editing in. You can use any text editor you want, of course. You can use the Opal IDE to edit the mod file. In fact, I would encourage you to use the Opal IDE to edit the mod file. But anyway, here I am editing that mod file. Whoops, where it is. Here's next brief section. Opal diet.mod. So I'm going to open it. So I added some innocuous comments, right? So this is the file you're pulling in. I'm sort of acting like Josh. I'm doing some work that you would be doing. So, and now I want to make sure that this important comment is shareable. So I had a summary of my change. And I hit commit first, and then it's committed, but it hasn't yet synced, and then I hit sync. And it's syncing synced, right? So you see that it looks like, and then I always triple check that my changes went through, so I go back to the page. It says less than a minute ago, so that's, obviously it's working, but just to be really anal, I can look at the commits here and say, oh, there it is. It says the important comment. And what does it look like? It looks like this. Okay, I added the important comment. So that's exactly what I need you to do, right? This is the easiest way for us to share files, is to make commits to this public GitHub repository, and that way we don't have to. It ends up working better than emailing files back and forth. So, okay, hopefully that was all sensible to you and makes sense. This doesn't make any sense, give me a shout and we'll schedule a meeting. Otherwise, I think I can work without you, but it'll be more efficient once you get that mod file working correctly, and so then we have something we can actually play with. All right, thanks, man.